Hi. In this clip, I wanted to talk about how Donald Trump's opponents are working for Donald Trump, possibly without realizing it. And here in Britain, we watch American politics a bit like a drunken brawl on the other side of the street. We enjoy the spectacle, but we don't have to pay for the damage, hopefully. And in Britain, Trump has undoubtedly degraded politics by turning everybody into an expert. You only have to say hence Donald Trump, and people look up to you as if you've made some very profound and perceptive insight. Or you say, hence the Trump presidency, with a kind of knowing fatigue. And people assume that you've been predicting something like this for years, and finally history has vindicated your predictions. So people are experts with zero knowledge. People say, hence the Trump presidency, when they don't even know if the president is a member of Congress or not. So I was very glad recently to meet an actual real life American at a party. And I said, some of Trump's policies may be popular and that could be dangerous for the opposition next time around. And instead of saying, yeah, that's true, we're worried, he got very angry with me and went into this big long speech about how Trump was the worst thing ever, the worst crisis ever to befall the Republic, although not so bad that he felt he should go home and start campaigning against Trump's re-election. But maybe this guy, this American guy, was typical of Trump's opponents because they tend to assume Trump is the problem, which is an easy thing to assume because he looks like a problem. But maybe them thinking Trump is the problem is the problem. If you look at his image, that looks like a big problem, but it works for him. He comes across as this self-centered, bumptious redneck, when usually a politician tries to perfect their image and hope that their opponents don't expose it as false. But Trump's opponents can't expose that image as false because it's him. And his opponents can't believe that anyone will want to come across as an unsophisticated idiot because they're educated. They've spent a fortune making sure nobody ever thinks they're an idiot. So they can't believe why this image of Trump as an impulsive simpleton works. Well, it works, firstly, because it makes him look easy to beat, and that disarms his opponents. And secondly, it means that his opponents are consumed by their own reaction to his image. And so his opponents, who are all very clever, are not very clever when they react to Trump's image. They don't react, they overreact. They get angry and irrational and outraged. And their outrage is gold dust to Trump because the outrage of the opposition makes it appear that the opposition to him consists of nothing but outrage and noise and hysteria. So we have this anti-Trump hysteria everywhere. And there's no calm and reasonable opposition to Donald Trump anywhere that I can see. He seems to have wiped it out, and he's done it by letting his opponents do the work. He gave them this image, he's an idiot, and they ran with it, even though the facts suggest that he's not an idiot. You know, if he's an idiot, how did he make a fortune in property? He's an idiot, and he executive produced a worldwide hit TV show in which he starred. He's an idiot, and he won an election that all the clever people said he was going to lose. And these are three completely different careers. Politics, the media, and real estate are completely separate, and nobody really in the history of the world has ever mastered all three. And he's done it while being an idiot. And his opponents keep saying he's an idiot, and they add that he's a sexist and he's a bigot and he's a criminal and he's a traitor and he's a lunatic. And they keep doing this as if calling him names will help. And it does help. It helps Trump because it keeps them on the territory where they lost before, the territory where it's all about their obsession with his character. And they won't change their tactics because they're addicted to that losing territory, calling him names, because it makes them look good. It makes them feel good as well. And that works for Trump too. Every slur against Trump is a compliment to the person delivering the slur. You know, if you say he's appalling, that means I'm good. You know, if I say he's stupid, that means I'm clever. If I say he's a cheat, that means I've never done anything wrong in my life. And it's very important to Trump, very useful to Trump, that his opponents think they're morally superior to him. Why though? Why is it useful to Trump if the Democrats think they're morally superior to Trump? Because it means that they can lose the election and still feel okay about it. And that's what happened. and it could happen second time around again. And they keep saying he's the worst president ever, and America deserves better. And America may deserve a better president, but they never ask, does America deserve a better opposition? And if Trump is as bad as they say, then he'll be easy to stop next time around. And if he's not easy to stop, then he's not the worst president. But they are the worst opposition. In fact, they're not really the opposition at all. They are Trump's base.